Welcome back to Steele and Vance. So glad you are here for this segment. We've been looking forward to it ever since our next guest was on virtually last time.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep him here for the rest of the show. There was so much great information.
Because we're talking about COVID. This one's recovering.
Yeah, great.
I had it once, and a lot of people have suffered lingering symptoms, the kind of long COVID, which doctors aren't really sure what to make of. Is long COVID legit?
Is it? The Lancet says, well, yeah, and there's some issues with tissues association with long COVID and what it means. Is it inflammation? What is it? How does it present itself? It's
How do you
scary.
treat it? When does it go away? Oh, we have so many questions, so let's bring in our guest.
Let's do it. Jason Tetro is here. He is
the germ guy.
You're the germ guy, but you're an expert. Just so our viewers know, you're an expert in emerging pathogens like COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is your specialty.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been researching bad stuff that happens to humans since the mid 80s. My first ever sort of project was on tainted tuna. I hope you're both old enough to remember that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'm much older than I look. So the fact is that I've been studying various different pathogens for the last 30 some odd years. The first one was actually H5N1, and I hope we can talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But the original SARS in 2003, the pandemic virus 2009, 2010, and of course what happened with SARS-CoV-2, or as everyone now calls it, COVID, which should never have happened, by the way.
Right.
We could do an entire show on that,
Yeah.
but let's talk with long COVID.
Well,
let's start with the stigma around it, because as Linda was mentioning in the first segment when we were talking about you coming on, is that there is a disconnect between some physicians and people who are presenting symptoms. Like what is the stigma and what are those symptoms that we're looking at and looking for?
Well, the big problem that we're seeing with COVID right now, especially with the post-acute sequelae of COVID, PASC, or long COVID as everyone calls it, is that it's very similar to a number of other types of conditions that we've heard about that kind of get poo-pooed. Chronic fatigue syndrome is one of them. Fibromyalgia, right?
Here we go.
So when you look at all the different types of symptoms, the fatigue is the real big one, because you get that when you have COVID and then it just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Now, I hope it goes away for you, Jody. I really do.
I really feel it. I have to say, like, just full disclosure, I don't mind talking about it. I have not had COVID until this past week. I did last week's show virtually, as most people are aware. And I tested negative on Monday, thankfully. And I am still exhausted.
Exactly.
Like, how long will this last?
My girlfriend has been suffering now since 2020 with long COVID, with neurological symptoms, vision problems. What is it where it seems to present almost like dementia type symptoms?
Well, and that's the problem, is that when you're looking at how these sequelae, as we like to call them, secondary factors occur, it can happen almost anywhere. In my show, the Super Awesome Science Show, we would actually look at the different aspects of it. So the brain, the neurology, the blood, the organs, that type of thing. And all of those are in play. Now, where the stigma comes into it is the exact same thing as the stigma with HIV, right? You've got something that's mysterious inside of you that you cannot find, but somehow it is making you feel really sick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people with what we call post-acute Lyme disease who feel exactly the same way. I feel you, Avril. So the fact of the matter is, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean,
it's terrible.
It's horrible.
And people didn't believe her.
Exactly. And that's the big issue, because there are 4 different ways that we can see this type of long factoring in.
Okay.
Okay. One is the persistence, which is what the Lancet paper just showed you. Okay. Another is autoimmunity, where your body starts fighting itself. We do see that, and lupus is one of those good examples.
Terrible.
You could have reactivation of other viruses like herpes virus and chickenpox virus, like varicella zoster, that type of thing. And then there's altered bodily functions, where the things that were supposed to help you fight COVID are now working against you.
Like what?
They're called abzymes. So they're antibodies. So you know those things that look like Y you see pictures of all the time? Well, they are designed to attach to the spike protein, but then they can also attach to your cells and start making your cells feel like they have COVID.
Oh, great.
And as a result of that, your body is working against you.
Here's my question, because I've had many vaccines.
All of them.
So,
Yeah.
am I less likely to get long COVID if I've been
Great question.
regularly vaccinated?
Absolutely. And
right.
the reason for that, okay, and Jody, I'm hoping that you get to be sort of the case study here, is that when you get vaccinated, you will have a certain repertoire of antibodies, of different types of T cells,
Right.
all of those types of things. So that's what's going to help you to fight, okay? And if you have a mixture of a previous infection where you were able to recover, then you almost have blanket immunity. But even without that, if you've got that vaccine in you, and you do end up getting COVID, an infection, you're going to follow a course that's going to help you to recover faster, and it's going to reduce the chances of any kind of long-term symptoms as a result of that.
That's so relieving.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all of that. You've also been a great help by DM as we were planning this segment. When you're like, make sure you drink lots of water, and I've not been hungry, and you're like, you need to eat because you need the energy,
Oh, yeah,
you need the sugar,
absolutely.
you need the salt, you need the things.
Yeah.
So are there a couple of how-tos when you're dealing with COVID? Because it's going around.
Yeah, so the new COVID that's coming around is going to affect a lot more people simply because they didn't get the XBB vaccine, okay?
Right.
And so the XBB is going to give you some immunity to that. However, even if you don't have that XBB, if you had any of the previous ones, it's going to help, right? But if you do end up getting it, you're going to have that fatigue. You're going to have a headache. Oh, it's
a bad headache.
It's horrible.
For days and days and days. Like
days.
ice pick to your head headache.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And again, the reason for that is this inflammation. And one of the ways that you can help to reduce inflammation is through hydration. Okay. So this is why whenever from a common cold to, long COVID, you want to make sure that you're continually hydrating.
Okay.
You also want to make sure that you're eating because you've got to make sure that you're helping your cells essentially develop and turn over to create new ones that are going to be able to help you.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why it can take up to 8 days before you start feeling better, even if you're negative.
I'm at 7 days.
We're running out of time. We have lots of things to talk about. Let's talk about H5N1, the bird flu.
H5N1.
Or
Yeah.
H5N1.
Yeah.
And so now they're actually talking about testing milk supplies in Canada. What do you know about this?
So a lot of people love the idea of vaccination, just not with vaccines. And
Right.
I still don't understand that. If anyone understands, please let me know. But the thing is, people are starting to believe that if you have raw milk that is contaminated with H5N1, you're going to vaccinate yourself or give yourself natural immunity.
Are you serious
Oh, yeah,
right now?
it's absolutely, I've been seeing
It's like
this.
the COVID parties. Let's catch COVID, and then we
That's
won't.
Darwinian.
And we'll be immune.
And it doesn't matter. It could be H5N1, it could be COVID, it could be chicken pox,
Right?
it could be measles.
No parties.
No parties. All you want to do
Speaking
is
of measles, quickly, we
Yes.
had a measles death, a preventable death in Ontario, right?
Another one, actually, in the States.
Yeah,
I think.
there's
in
been
the
a couple.
States,
Yeah.
So everybody should be immunized. Check your immunization schedule.
Absolutely,
And
you
is there
need to
any
be immunized.
Oh,
Any downsides to get it again? Like Linda and I are, well, I
No,
don't know.
so this happened about 10 years ago when we had a real big outbreak. We were looking at the idea of triple vaccination or triple boostering, and there doesn't seem to be any problem with that. So if you don't know, based on your little blue card, what you are at, you can always go and get one.
Especially if you're traveling.
I'm such a
Absolutely.
pincushion.
I know,
I'll do
I'll
it again.
take it.
I need to get the pneumonia vaccine. What else is there? I've had shingles.
Had the shingles.
Oh, you got the shingles?
I got the
I've
shingles.
had
Awesome.
shingles.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep,
up to
had
date
them
on
both.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
We get our flu. We do our arm flap. We're good. Jason, as always, thank you for this. And
We
you
could
are.
just keep going for the whole hour.
We could. You're very available on social media as well.
Yes.
So people, what's your handle?
At Tetro on Twitter, and you can find me just essentially by Googling me anywhere.
That's
What's
right.
your book?
Oh gosh.
Two. The germ
code and
and
the germ files.
This guy's awesome, and he will actually answer questions on
Super
social
awesome.
media.
Super awesome Science
Thank
Guy
you.
podcast too. So many
Love it.
things.
Great to have you
Thanks.
in.
Thank you so much.
Again,
Thanks,
it went
Jason.
by too fast.
I know, it always does, right?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, coming up next, some shocking video of rapper Diddy assaulting his former girlfriend in a hotel lobby has people asking, why are victims still not believed? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and how that impacts women here. But okay, let's lighten things up significantly. Our viewing party starts in this segment. Sally in Nanaimo, I love your Canucks jersey. Way to go.
Linda from New Westminster, thanks for sending in a photo.
And then we've got Bandit.
Bandit,
Hi, Bandit.
oh, super cute. And Tom as well. Hello, Tom. Thanks for sending in the photos.
Big fan in Winnipeg. Hey, up for grabs this week, a $100 gift card at Earl's viewing party at checkmedia.ca. Tell us where you're watching from. We're right back in a moment.